milestones here, but the majority of milestones, at least the ones that are critical for our purposes, they were on time as tracked. Both I'm talking about the shutdown, both start and completion of the shutdown remain the same. We're still holding that date of September 16th to start. However, there was a little bit of time lost for the work related to the completion of the conveyors. Um, and those are all related to the date we currently have set as a sort of hard constraint for the belt installation. So the last time I heard it was August 18. So that is the date that's at the moment driving completion of the
So
mechanical work.
I guess let's look at this per conveyor here, right, Eugene, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So 2290, we're saying 2-day installation. The tasks that are happening subsequent to that, V-plow installation is a day. Your take-up tower guards are going to take you 15 days.
Yeah, so that's something to unpack, right? So this is the date, is really a duration, sort of like a placeholder to maintain the start of the shutdown, right? So the no matter what happens with the belt installation, right? We're gonna still continue. We're gonna still butt up all the installation and all the what should I call it? The commission, I guess, acceptance of uh, the conveyors just in time for the start of the shutdown. Whether or not it happens earlier, it's a different story, which probably will. But just for the purpose of the scheduling, we want to maintain that date of September 16, just like we had a discussion a couple of meetings ago, maintaining the date of September 16 for the start of the shutdown. So if we don't keep that placeholder, because it was the most sort of the easiest activity to keep the start of the shutdown in the same spot, right?
So then, what is driving the conveyor completion to the 15th of September? Why are we completing the conveyor the day before the shutdown starts?
Just to tie to that, right?
That doesn't make any sense. That's not telling us an honest picture of when the conveyor is going to be completed.
Well, okay. So there is electrical activity. So there's two things here, right? So there's electrical activities that we're looking at, right? And also the belt installations. So there's two things. They're kind of running at the same time, concurrently. That
No, I understand
so
what you're saying,
so
Eugene.
if we just concentrate on the electrical activities, right? Then the latest date would be September 5th, right?
Okay, can we? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We were looking at the reclaim conveyor, right?
Sure.
So let's just look at the reclaim conveyor. All these conveyors are working independently. Is that not correct?
That's right. So they're
okay.
They're,
so what is driving your reclaim conveyor completion to the day before the shutdown?
So as I mentioned, the main factor here is the belt installation date, right? And then the take-up guards activity is sort of like a self-adjustment activity that keeps the start of the shutdown date.
Right.
The date of the shutdown start.
No, so that to me doesn't make sense, right? Because I'm at, like the belt. The belt installation is a 2-day activity that's done on the 19th of August. After the belt installation is complete, you have a series of activities that need to be completed for us to get the conveyor complete. Right now, you're saying my conveyor is going to be complete the same time as my shutdown starts because I've built an artificial timeline of 15 days for a task that's not going to take 15 days. So you have to hard code the start of the shutdown to be independent of the work that's happening prior. Like that is not telling us an accurate picture of when you're going to be done the reclaim conveyor.
You either hard constraint the shutdown start or you break the tie of the take-up guards and you tie conveyor completion to the activity just prior.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that, right? It was just the easiest way because we were talking about a couple of different ways of maintaining the start of the shutdown. So this seemed like an easiest one, and it wasn't like our intention to mislead anyone. But of different options to keeping the shutdown date on the 16th, this one was the cleanest one, right? Outside of like hard-coded dates and things of that nature.
But the reality, Eugene, is the shutdown start date is a hard-coded date.
Well, that's the whole point, right? So that's why instead of, yeah, because there are other things involved within the scheduling realm that sort of, let's put it this way. I'd like to avoid using hard-coded dates as much as possible, right?
So Eugene,
Because why?
You don't have a
Because
question.
it changes, it affects the flow of all the downstream activities. If we as a group decide that we want to hard code those dates or have them as a hard constraint, I guess we're far enough into the schedule where we can do that. I guess.
I guess, Eugene, the schedule has to reflect the reality, right?
Well,
the reality is we know
and
the
it does,
shutdown
doesn't
start
it?
date and shutdown end date is a hard-coded date for all of us. That date's not changing.
That's
right?
correct. Yeah, and that's the point of having a self-adjusting activity that would drive the shutdown start.
but then you can't tie the self-adjusting activity to the milestone of that conveyor being complete. Those need to be independent then.
Right.
That way your
Right.
milestone of when the conveyor is complete still shows accurately. Right?
Correct. So, right. So the transfer conveyor, so there's an extra link that we need to take a look at. So the transfer conveyor does not have that link, and it shows September 5th, right? Right, that's something we could look at definitely for the update.
I think we need to do that update like now. You have to resubmit the schedule with that update.
How long do you think?
Because right now, Eugene, what you're telling us is we're not going to be done this conveyor, and that doesn't include Chris's commissioning of this conveyor till the day before the shutdown.
Well, it's going to be done 15 days prior to that.
But that's not what the schedule is saying.
Oh, the schedule. Okay. So, okay. So, hang on. So, Hayden, what would be the most realistic duration? Or let's look at the baseline. Better yet. Right?
Yeah,
let's
it's
not
probably
invent anything.
probably that one electrical activity that ends on September 5th or whatever.
What is that electrical activity? Is it the?
It was just lighting. It was lighting.
So I guess that's something we need to flag with Manny to be like,
Well,
why
in
is
the
that?
baseline, by the way, in the baseline, the take-up guards was set up as 20 days. So we're actually cutting the durations here. But so let me think for a second. Downside.
Why don't you just get with
Um,
Aiden and figure out what that duration should be so that we can see what the actual completion would be? Because right off of that, Chris needs that date so he can actually go into commissioning.
all right,
Well,
fine.
I
So
guess-
how long is the commissioning going to be?
You have to ask that question to Chris.
Chris is on.
Is he?
Otherwise.
Yeah, I'm here.
Commissioning, yeah, commissioning is going to push a lot of these activities further out anyway. A lot of stuff we can't do until after commission.
Like what?
You're going to want to run the belt before we set all the skirt boards, right? Or do you want us to go ahead and set them first?
No, you set them. As soon as
Okay.
the belt's pulled on, you set skirt boards.
I didn't know if you needed to track before we set skirt boards.
No. Yeah, no, we'll just make sure the take-up tower's in the right position. You can set the skirt boards.
Okay.
That's how it's set up right now?
We don't have commissioning in the schedule.
Yeah. But I guess for your
Yeah,
activities to be done.
We have, as soon as the belt's put in, we set skirt boards. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we
Yeah,
currently have it.
that's
So that's reflective of the tasks, right?
So then the other activity we need to take a look at is this lighting that Manny needs to do after the belts and everything is.
I don't think any of the lighting needs to be done after the belt is installed. And there's some stanchions that they're pulling down, they said, right? There are two from the conversation we had.
It's just the latest activity. 2 stanchions and a hose station.
Like, how is that going to affect commissioning? Those lights can go on even at the end when we're done, are shut down, and that can be an item that'll be taken care of at that point.
I think it was, the activity was powering up the lights.
Oh.
Tested energized.
But that, yeah, so that will tie up to when he's actually going to commission that, right? Okay. I mean, I guess the other thing too, like, I know I'm talking to Eugene about updating this, like, what's driving our completion of this conveyor? Is it the schedule or is it our punch list?
That shows August 27th.
You know, which, I mean, probably would be more realistic for us so then he can commission it. Because Toshiba's coming in now, but that's related to the apron feeders. That's not related to these guys, right? What's driving our completion of this conveyor really is that punch list, is it not?
Trying to think of any punch list items we have that are preventing commissioning happening right now.
I guess the motors. If have they pulled cables to 2290 yet? No. The drive motors, yeah.
There.
Terminated. Yeah, that would be a task that needs to be done for that, right?
So, I mean, like, I guess it depends on what we say by preventing commissioning, right? Because, like, there's a lot of things that are A punches that would not physically hold up the work, like ITRs. But if we don't have those, then Chris doesn't have the documentation he needs, right? So, I mean, I'm not trying to sort of be a Debbie Downer, but like, we've got V-plows missing, and we've got quite a few things that, again, wouldn't stop you from being able to turn the motors on and commission it. But
most of our activities are after the belt is installed. Is what I looked at the punch list today.
Okay.
So once the belt's installed, then we've got a handful of activities we need to go do.
Right. So I guess those activities, are they reflected in the schedule right now? So that is reflective of.
They're already in here.
Okay, so that's the.
And setting the screw boards. That's all.
Okay. So really, if the belt and what the date we're looking at right now, but the 20, what is it, 20?
The other punch list items are parts and pieces we're waiting for Bert on. So as soon as those come in, those will take their time.
Yeah.
Very close on 90. As far as our stuff goes.
And Karn, there are a few things in here, like return idler cages. Now, as long as we flag the area off, that is something that we could potentially. It's an A punch because it's a safety item. However,
I mean, why? What's stopping us from getting that done now? That's the question. Like, what's holding us? We have the cages, we have the work front.
Where do they?
That's well, I mean, like
off the top of my
I
head,
don't know where the cages go.
under where there's a
basically any
there's
roadway,
any roadway.
Anywhere you can drive under a conveyor. That's essentially.
Even when they're up inside the truss, yes, I guess that's where they have to go. So, okay.
Like, we can have an offline discussion about any of these specifics.
We just send an RFI then, and where.
Oh, it's on the drawing. It's on the BOM.
I don't know what that is.
It is because I remember I looked at some of those with what's his name? Ethan came by.
I'll dig into that item in particular, Hayden, and we can talk about that after the meeting if you'd like.
Yeah.
That's in case the roller jumps off, it catches the roller.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's
they're chained on separately from the idler, so that when the idler, if the idler were to ever fall off, whether a bolt breaks, loose, whatever, it just stays inside of that chained on cage. That's separate from the idler itself.
But I guess either way, like, we can talk through all of these and see how the 2290 we're feeling comfortable with. 2295, we need to figure out what we're doing with that. Clearly, that's something that 2285 is the other one, right? But again, all of those have punch items. And now if we're addressing punch lists to be the way that we're tracking the work that's left on something, is that reflected in the schedule? Is the question. Right. So does the schedule reflect all those activities for us to say SMPI completion that includes all the punches that need to be done for that to be hit?
No, we haven't added any punch list items to this guy.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is punch list items are the A items are construction complete items. So you can't complete a task on the schedule if it's still open if that punch list item isn't closed out. It's the same thing. It's not like the punch list item is adding new work It's work that needs to be completed for something to be SMPEI complete. That's my question, right? Like, how do you correlate? Like, are the durations, the punch item durations should be the same activities up there at this point?
Well, technically,
Similar
the punch list is a separate item, but I get your point.
Like the punch list as we know it typically in construction is you are construction complete, then we do a walk down and we punch the work that's left. And that's a punch list after SMPEI completion. What we're doing now is we want to know where we are with any work that's left. We're doing construction walks, right? So those punch list items need to be complete for this to be SMPEI complete, or whatever we identify as needs to be complete, which in this case is A punches, because C is a very nice to have, and B is not required for commissioning.
All right, so I guess the bottom line, we need to look at the three things, right? So the take-up tower guards, we need to take a look at maybe single line punch list activity, and then maybe a single line activity for the commissioning, and that will keep the shutdown start date and SMPI date honest, quote unquote. So three things, right? The preceding durations for the original scope items.
Yeah.
Single line SMPI punch list, because we already have punch lists for the plumbing and electrical, and then single line for commissioning. These are the things we need to get cleared up.
So I guess the one thing that we don't have here is related to the dome, right? So the dome isn't something we're punching. We're relying on this schedule to be the driver of the dome work and the dome completion, right? So right now the dome is pushing the project out a week.
All right, so let's go back to the dome.
Yeah, let's look at the dome, because that's really
there's a couple of things. Yeah, there's a couple of things to unpack there in the dome. There's two major things that are impacting the dome and also substantial completion by about a week. And the first one is the easiest one to describe, and that would be the weather. There was total of let me scroll down to show it a little bit better. So the total shutdown was 18 and a half hours, so close to 2 days that were lost on the critical path due to lightning, wind, and things of that nature. There is, I think, 3 or 4 different occasions where the work was shut down for the total of 2 work days, more or less. And the second thing, and we kind of talked about it during the last schedule meeting, was the sequencing requirements, or rather limitation, between the Apex installation and the out of balance of work in the dome. So that was the 2 days due to weather, and then additional 2 days and a half due to the stoppage of work while the dome was being flown and installed. And that's really what the logic indicates. So you have the cladding stopping right before the Apex installation started, then the Apex, and then when the Apex was completed, the cladding work restarted at the Ring 15. So we expected it, yeah. So we expected this to happen. It did
right,
affect.
but I guess the question now becomes, like, we're now saying that we're going to be completing the dome after the shutdown is done.
That's been the case for the last 2 updates, correct?
Right, and I think when we spoke about this in the last update, that the task was to go back and see night shifts, whatever we need to do to accelerate that. And I don't think that's happened. Is that correct?
There was additional Saturdays added to the schedule.
So we got like 3 Saturdays left, right? Before
correct.
the shutdown. So
and there's also, I know that, and I don't want to speak out of place, but Hayden helped me out. I think you've been working with HDI pretty diligently
Yeah.
to figure this thing out.
Have no option of working around the clock, just instant. So even if that's an option, we're still 2 weeks away from that even starting. We're already talking about starting at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
in the forward once we have to get our crane operators and all of our safety and everything
Yeah.
shifted. That could happen here as early as tomorrow.
Okay.
Um,
And then that hopefully will accelerate us because the weather will be more agreeable. That's kind of the hope, right? But again, of course, things out of our control, right?
and they're adding more people. We have a compliance training scheduled for Thursday next week to add more people Thursday next week.
Yeah.
Still,
So I guess we're 4 weeks out from the shutdown. The next schedule update is 2 weeks from now. If we're not going to know by then how we're doing, that might be a little too late. So I'm kind of wondering if we're going to switch this approach to try starting earlier and seeing if that accelerates our installation durations. Do we do an interim update of just the dome work to see kind of how we're landing after the end of this week?
we're not going to have made any changes this week that will affect it drastically.
When you say start earlier, you mean keeping the same hours or just more?
So we'll start at 3 a.m. and if the weather's good, we'll work till 3 p.m. We'll work 12-hour days. We'll work as long as the weather lets us every day. Start early.
Yeah. And I mean, so that's kind of mitigation approaches that we're trying. And I think what else can we do unless we decide to start installing cladding in a 24-hour rotation? Which
If we do that,
you're going to be burnt
it'll
out.
be 2 weeks to get 2 more crane operators
Yeah,
hired.
and that's not possible. That's not possible, right? So that's not possible. That's not feasible.
It just doesn't gain us a whole lot other than we can. We'll just have to get operators like through IMSHA training if they're not IMSHA trained and all that.
Okay. Eugene, quick
There's a
question.
chance I could get a couple guys from another job that are already IMSHA trained. That would speed the process up. I've already reached out to ask. What's that?
It's the 1 day, yeah. Eugene, how often are you doing schedule updates? Is it weekly?
It's bi-weekly, but
Well, we submit.
Certainly they do it weekly.
Hang on. So, yeah, we do weekly internally. That's sort of like a dry run that we do every week. And then the official submittal obviously is bi-weekly.
So I guess kind of thinking from now to the end of the shutdown, what value is the schedule as we're currently doing it presenting, right? The dome is really the one thing that no one has punched. And this is really our only visibility on when we're getting our dome complete, correct? So if we get weekly updates on the dome, is that more valuable than, how many bi-weekly updates do we have left? We have one in 2 weeks and one right before the shutdown. We have 2 bi-weekly updates left, right?
Well, actually, Eugene, I was going to ask if we could do, don't kill me,
A weekly update.
a weekly submission, just like we did on solution handling, just load
Yeah,
it. So
I mean, it's really. I mean, I have no issue with that. I think it's going to be pretty useful if we do weekly submittal, but bi-weekly narrative.
Yes, same thing.
Yeah, just like we did on solution handling. I have no issue with that. I mean, Hayden, let me know if you're on board. We can do that.
I'm gone for the next 2.5 weeks.
So it's a yes.
But I guess
we can get an update for you.
yeah, let's be real. Like at the end of the day, the thing that we really need to keep an eye on this is the dome, right? And everything else we're keeping an eye on using a punch list, right? So the dome is really the critical update that needs to happen. And I mean, I think it's a discussion, Stan, yourself, Manny, Chris, if you all agree that the punch list is really what we're powering through from now on, and we have as many punch meetings as we need to have to get us to the point that we need to get to. And the dome is what's updated on a weekly basis in this, and the general project milestones,
Yeah.
so we can track where we're going.
Because I think that we're kind of getting to that point where we're going to transition to the 3 weeks look ahead, which is.
I mean, in 2 weeks, we're working off the shutdown schedule anyways for the August 27th down day.
So that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like the dome is the only thing that no one has any visibility on as far as work left. And then I guess on the dome too, like there's nothing that's here about the installation of the lightning rod, and then that cable installation, and then those. Well, I mean that says that was done today. Like it said 12th of August, the lightning rod installation is going to be complete, and that's not true. And then there's the cable that has to get installed, and then there's has Rural not been giving any updates on this to your schedule, Eugene?
Yeah, I guess I missed, I may have missed the grounding, and the lightning rod activity. So yeah, we'll take a look at that, but that hardly is gonna have any impact on the schedule overall. I think the biggest thing here is getting the cladding done in time.
But I mean,
Potential
that
completion.
lightning cable needs to be installed after the cladding is done.
Correct.
So now you're pushed your dome completion out even more. Because you have a task that needs to be done after the cladding is done that isn't shown here. Not that, again, how does that impact us?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably gonna be done at the same time, where the door frames are done, so it's probably not gonna affect the schedule, that much, or, I'm sorry, for at all. But Manny, do you have any, or anyone, yeah, Manny's here, do you have any, outlook on when the grounding, the lightning rod is gonna go up? And then the cable?
Well, the lightning rod is being installed by y'all, right? By Phoenix.
We're assisting, yeah.
Oh,
They're going up.
yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so none of that can get done, Eugene, until the cladding's up. So I mean, you're asking, the question is when? Whenever the cladding gets done.
Yeah, but I guess that's what I'm trying to say, right, Eli? Like that needs to show on this.
Okay. Yeah, but again,
And I mean, the same thing with the J box. We can't put it up until the cladding's up. So
Sorry, Eli, that junction box for the lightning down conductor for connection, that can either be installed off of the conveyor steel or off the dormer. And then the one at the bottom can probably be mounted now since the cladding at the bottom has been installed.
So that's not holding you up from getting those junction box installed, Eli.
okay, we can do that, but we only have our hands on one. So I don't know where the other junction box is. The only one that I have is the one that came in that crate, that wooden crate, Thomas.
So the second box came as a second shipment from Louise earlier this year. There's one box that came with like that 400 or 300 number box that Phoenix has. I don't know if that's been open for you guys.
Might just have to do a little bit of digging. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I just came from the connexes, so there's nothing up there. So I don't know where that other box is at. I mean, I can only speak for the one I do have in my hands.
Or just get it for them later. Yeah.
I'll give you a call after if you want.
Yeah, but I guess kind of Eugene, like if the dome is the only place where we have that visibility, we need to get all these tasks in. So I can send you like a little snippet of what those are and then how they get aligned. If that helps.
yeah, of course, anything helps, yeah.
Okay. And then you've got the roll-up doors being installed in October.
Yeah, we can move those up.
Okay. Okay.
On that roll-up doors, do we have a location, Thomas, as to where we're going to install them? If we can start putting those up.
Yeah, there was an RFI, I believe, that Rural sent in that was responded to. I can send you that RFI if you don't have it. can be installed though.
Well, I think that's what Hayden is saying, right? They can be installed.
They can be installed.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Okay, so I guess there's a few things that need to be looked at here on the dome, right? So, and I'm guessing Hayden, you're gone next week, right?
You have Drew and Steve and Paul can review updates.
Okay.
That's what they do when I'm not here.
So, do you think, like, based on how it goes this week, maybe half of this week, beginning of next, that'll let you potentially adjust your cladding durations? Are you going to do that, or are you going to leave those durations the same? Because if you leave the durations the same, like, what's going to change, right? At the end of the day, the only way this is getting accelerated is if we're reducing our cladding completion durations. We don't have float, we got nothing.
Are you starting at 3 or?
I have to verify. I told them to ask the crane operators and safety if they come in early.
Just let us know. That's not the, yeah.
Timing couldn't have been worse. 8 of our light plants just left site when they said yes, they could start at 3. So got to get them back out here. I know it's right. Only light plants coming out.
We were doing the 101, we had 4 on site, but I don't think they're here. They may be moved.
We've got enough to put one in each crane right now, so.
I mean, if they focus on an area for the first day, they can just put the light plants in that area and focus on that area, right? Yeah, I mean, there's workarounds for the couple of days where we have 4 light plants. Yeah, I agree.
Chris said he's gonna get the lights on in the dome too.
Yeah, I was wondering when we'll get 2285 lit up like a Christmas tree.
I mean, I think he's got to
They gotta
commission the hearing first. Let him get through that, and then he can put lights on in the dome.
Sounded like there were still a few obstacles, but
yeah,
they're working towards that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I just think these need to be updated a little bit, and then we need to see if there's any possibility for us to accelerate the cladding. That's really the big thing for the project right now. So, Chris, are you good with the weekly update? And then punch list driven activities so weekly update for dome and milestones, punch list driven closure of the conveyors.
Yeah, I mean, whatever the team feels that is going to get us there quicker, right? I mean, and an understanding of where we're at, and if it's a weekly for dome and then working off punch list, I think the punch list is where it's at. We actually have a full blown more detail behind that, so I think that's where we head is working off a punch list off a 3-week. I don't know that this schedule's given me a whole lot of confidence of where we're at right now. I'm not gonna lie.
I guess that's the question for like y'all. Like, is the schedule giving you confidence in where we're at? There's no judgment, honest conversation.
I think we're being as honest as we can be in it. I don't want to say, we're finishing 2 hours or 2 weeks earlier than we think. I think this is realistic if we don't.
Okay, so Hayden, you messed up when you said that. I want your recovery plan in writing tomorrow. You're past your outage, you're past your schedule. We're running long. I want a recovery plan put in my hands tomorrow in paper of how we're going to recover and get all this pulled back. If this is the truth, then let's do a recovery plan. And tell me how we're going to pull this back. What can we do to get this back on track and on schedule? Because we're not on schedule. I mean, that's fair, right? We keep pushing this stuff and it's because of wind or it's because of this, because of that. We've offered options of working nights for the cladding guys. We've put out all kinds of scenarios where we could have pulled this forward a long time ago and it hasn't been done. So now if you're saying this is an honest answer to where we're at right now, I need a recovery plan and what we're going to do to pull it back to where it needs to be for the September 5th, 16th outage.
mean, I think we're talking to some of those things right now, right?
I agree. Now let's put them on paper for me. Put them in writing of what you're going to do to recover my schedule, so that we can hit this September 16th deadline that we've had for the last 6 months, where we all agreed to lock it in.
0 floats 6 months ago, and now we have negative floats. So I get it.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Oh, I said we had 0 floats 6 months ago. Now we have negative floats. So I get it. I understand.
I mean, I'm not trying to be an ass here, but I mean, if
No,
we're saying and you're telling me that this is true and this is honest, I got to do a recovery plan. We got to figure out how to get everything pulled forward, and we need about a week and a half. So tell me what we're going to do. Tell me how we're going to solve the issue that we're in right now.
Yeah, I mean, I know what we're gonna try, and that's what we got to do. And
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you're looking at adding more people from HTI, right? You're looking at getting light plant set up, starting work earlier where wind is potentially more suitable for what we're trying to do. Like, these are all things that,
if I can get a couple crane operators, then we'll even look at the night shift. It just may not. We may need it here in a couple of weeks. So
I mean, I think we should.
I'm not gonna eliminate that. I'm gonna still
Hayden,
pursue that.
I'm
Sounds
going
like
to be
you-
a nice guy right here, but you're a subcontractor. I would look to your GC and see if they've got any crane operators they can supply, because they're the ones that are under contract to me. So if you're needing assistance and you can't reach the goal that we're at, I would be talking to Ames to find out if they can support you in any way to make sure that their team is successful in reaching our goal here. That's what I would
Principal?
suggest.
We've already been giving them, Chris, we've been giving them koi.
Principal.
Yep.
So
Understand.
whenever they need them.
They've offered to assist us on any shift work we need to do too. So I think we'll
Yeah,
be covered
so-
there.
You have more
So
operators.
let's get her did.
Let's reach
Yeah.
out to Raul as well and see if there's any way we can get any new hires in.
Yeah.
Just please bring in experienced miners. Get with your,
I think that's kind of that's what Chris is asking
let's
for,
talk
right?
about this.
That's what he
offline.
means
Let's
by a
figure it out.
recovery
Let's
plan.
see what we can do and what we can plan in.
It's fantastic. Because really, we're able to do this, and then how you break up your folks dedicating to complete punch lists. We have punch walks every day. It doesn't matter whatever we need to do to get to the point where we are done the construction and Chris is comfortable getting out doing his commissioning. Like,
So punch walks and stuff, we can go out whenever you need. Like we can support that.
Yeah, we're doing one tomorrow.
Yep. So stuff comes up, we can support on all that kind of stuff. No worries there.
I'll send you our updated punch list too. So you know
Perfect.
what items we are marking as.
That's awesome. And
We got our guys doing the touch-up paint, whatever we can do for everyone.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like, you've got Brian and Brandon working on stuff, and they're super diligent and all that. So I mean, that's certainly great news. Just a quick comment on punch walks. We did the 2285 today. Of course, there's the whole tail section, which we know is not complete because we've all been looking at the shutdown schedule. And I mean, generally speaking, I think it went better than a lot of the other punch walks did. So there's a lot fewer items. There's just, like the SCN, a few things we gotta. So we sent out the punch list for everything tomorrow. You'll see the walkthrough today included on that.
yeah, and I mean, I guess, as you did mention earlier, Hayden, there is the shutdown schedule that's happening in the same time as well, right? So we have shutdown activities that also need to be completed in parallel. So there's like literally 4 work fronts or 5 work fronts. And you have a group dedicated to that in terms of preparing for the shutdown.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
So then
That's what our guys are. I mean,
that's kind of like,
punch list right now too, but we're also incorporating what we need to do.
Yeah. And I mean, so Talal has his weekly meetings right now. That's one thing we should be looking at this week. And if we need to accelerate those too, like whatever we need to get to that point that we need to get to.
Okay, so Eugene, looking at 2285, conveyor, everything looks somewhat okay. It's just construction for 2285 skewed by the cladding.
Yeah.
But I think everything else looks like it's okay to get into the conveyor completion or conveyor ready for shutdown.
Do you mind going up to the 2285 SMPI completion date and doing the same thing that we had done, Eugene, where you had the related tasks?
Yeah. So yeah, I'll put together some notes. But things that we need to do the next update related to the conveyors.
Yeah, but sorry, the feed conveyor, that's 16th of September. At least the non-shutdown part of the feed conveyor.
All right, so the 22. Yeah, so the majority of work is probably going to be completed by first week of September, like September 2nd. With remaining only the take-up guards in 2 weeks. So
Well, okay.
Yeah, we need to look at all these activities past the belt installation. The scope is covered pretty well with all the skirt boards and leaf valves and things of that nature. Like I said before, what we need to address is the two major items, which is the punch listing and commissioning. Make sure that.
So
Yeah.
I think for 2285, correct me if I'm wrong, but are we installing that belt during the shutdown?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that belt installation placeholder isn't.
I'm working on that, so I'll get Eugene an update on that.
Okay.
But it's the same. I see the same instance happening there. You got take up tower guards, 9-day duration, which I think is what you use as your placeholder to get you to September 15th. So basically, the way I read that, 2285 will be ready for that.
Well, yeah, I mean, the JIP crane is the
there's hours in the take up tower guards, guys. That is a task to perform those.
That's correct.
Right.
The original duration was 12 days, and that's where we started. That activity has a sizable amount of man hours assigned to it. So.
But that's going to be the one thing. The belt installation placeholder and the take up guards has to be shut down.
Yeah, it's about 7 guys.
Going before, yeah.
Okay.
But it's like stuff like that's also out of your control, like the JIP crane. Like that can be done until you get the JIP crane in, right? But is that shown on here as complete? It probably is because it's the old JIP crane, is it not?
Yeah, it was on the head section of work. Yeah.
Right, but that's FCN work that needs to be done, but hasn't been included as an update on this. Okay.
It is a punch list item.
Yeah.
And we need power to the winch. We need the maintenance cart.
So that's an after shutdown punch list item.
Pretty much, yeah.
Hayden, just out of curiosity, do you have an internal working punch list as well too? The reason, okay.
I was going to send you out a copy because I have notes and highlights there that shows.
Yeah, I think so. The reason I asked was because we have a subsystem for that crane. So tomorrow that punch list will come out because we're just doing signatures, but the whole punch list is just work not complete because the FCN is not like it's not a pointing fingers exercise. I was just kind of curious if there was something else you were maybe looking at as well too.
Yeah. And I think when we get that, I think we look at it, and Michael, we should look at if there's any outstanding FCN work that's not captured in the.
Sorry, I made an activity in here for it. Sorry, that's what we talked about. It's not in the punch list. We do have an activity for that JIP crane.
So that activity, including getting the parts and materials, still gets us done before the shutdown. That activity, but how?
Depending on when it delivers, I think at the latest update, I had it delivered by the end of this week.
Yeah. But don't you need the winch?
Yeah, the one thing I didn't factor in is when we get power to the winch. That was it.
Or
they're going to use the maintenance cart to.
Take everything.
I'm going to take the new one up, bring the old one down, and then pull the cart back off and stage it.
You're good. I was getting confused because I was thinking
that may be a post shutdown activity. Just depends on how it falls in line.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of like so. we have a 3-week duration post shutdown, right? And I think that's kind of like what we're trying to, at this point, determine. Like, is that sufficient for what work we're going to have left after the shutdown? Do we need a little?
Even working.
That's what I was going to ask. Well,
Exactly.
I'm sure.
And you're going to need respirators and PAPRs, and I know Freeport's got fit requirement stuff paper you have to submit. So
sounds like we got to do this before.
It'd be a down day. Still.
But at least getting it, like, or is it like get temp power to that winch and just use that winch? Yes. Why do we need regular power? Let's get a generator and plug that in and just get it done. It's just
what that looks like.
Yeah.
that winch is quite small. Now getting a generator, the winch is.
Let's be able to control it and have the push button station working, or does it have a?
I can't speak to that. I was just going to say it is way up in the air.
Plug it into fucking the socket and let's go, right?
You just have the control panel, so you just have to wire it up to the phone.
You just have to power the control panel up, and then you can operate it from that. Yeah.
So I mean,
That's something we could definitely look at.
Yeah. Is this something like? Yeah, but that's kind of what I'm saying, right? Like, I think we're at the point where it's like literally punch item granularity for us to get our tasks done. These general items were great when we were like getting through the bulk of the work, but now we're just kind of like, we got all these little things to get done. We just got to get it done. So we can help in terms of like, do we need to set up, because we have the punch list in our control, like I can sit down with Michael and we can come up with like how we present it and how we keep track of numbers and what we have.
Yeah, why don't I just send you my update, Michael? If you can include anything from mine into yours, great. And then we can use your updated one.
The 2285 in there, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds totally fine.
Like plans, I just got confirmation that we do not have any.
Yeah. If we need to get some back tomorrow, we can.
Okay. So kind of, I guess, summarizing what we're saying now. Weekly updates to the schedule. Dome needs to go back and get looked at for all activities, including electrical activities, to be added. Recovery plan needs to be provided to Freeport as to how we're going to pull this back to what we need to, what we're trying to do. Punch list is going to drive completion of conveyors. And that's really what our focus is for conveyor completion. And I guess Hayden, on top of like milestones also get updated, but that's going to be reflective of where you think we are with punch items, basically. Something we haven't talked about is ITRs, but I guess we'll leave that for the quality meeting tomorrow in terms of how do we get to the numbers we need to get to in 4 weeks. So we can do that. I know Jaron sent out his update and there was good progress last week. We got a whole bunch in. There's a whole lot to get in before we're wrapping up. So everyone better be wary of Michelle. She's coming.
I've been doing some investigating on those ITRs as well.
Okay, good. Chris, was there anything you wanted to add? Red lines.
No, and I don't want this to be negative, guys. I mean, we're doing a lot of work out there. I know you guys are working your ass off. I know you're looking at stuff, but I can't shift schedule. I can't shift this shutdown. It is what it is. And you know what? We got a good team here. So let's just figure out how we're going to get it done together and just move forward. We got to get it done. That's a fact. We are going to get it done. Let's figure out how we're going to do it. That's about all I got, guys.
So Stan, you're good with setting up those weeklies?
Setting up the weeklies?
Weekly review meeting. Are we just getting an update on this?
We're just going to get the update and then we'll just kick back any questions.
Is that the most effective way to do that? Why can't we set up weekly meetings? What's the problem? I think at this point in time, we need more meetings than anything, at least on the management level, for us to see where we're at. What's wrong with a weekly meeting?
I need everyone out working.
Like, I mean, this conversation we're having on the schedule, where we are with our punch items, how we're looking, going into the shutdown, like we literally only have one more meeting before the shutdown. The week before the shutdown, I don't want to have a scheduled review meeting. I want to be ready for the shutdown. Right? I don't know. I'll leave that with you.
Putting punch list items on all my 7 a.m. updates. So
Yeah.
Daily schedule. That's kind of what we're doing already.
Kind of like asking for client feedback here. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm trying to just list punch list items that we're working on that I know we're working on that day.
That's
And
great.
sometimes they're getting stuff done that I didn't even know they were working on.
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
And my thought is I don't really necessarily need this meeting to occur every week.
Okay.
If I get the submission every week, if I get the update from Eugene, which he's used to doing, I'll be okay because then I can see everything and see where my questions are.
Yeah. I guess my only thing with
It's being reviewed, it's of value.
well, I guess so. Let's talk about that for a second in terms of the morning meetings. The morning meetings identifies what we're doing, right? But what identifies how far we are? Like how what because we look
I
at
think
the
that's where that punch list is gonna be appropriate on a daily level. Then at that point, we can do that if you guys would all agree to
We
that.
can update the punch list every day and send Michael a copy every day.
If I need to publish it every day, we can do that. It's not a huge amount of work. Like that's something, if it's going to provide value for you guys and
Yeah.
not just,
we can look at doing a dashboard too where we have percentage completes and everything there so we get a visual picture of where we're at.
like, if you guys need something, we can at least try to accommodate.
If we're doing something like that, I think we should alternate. It should be like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type look at the punch
I
list
said it every couple days.
where we're at. Yeah.
Maybe
So
we try that for the next week, this week and next week, and see how we roll.
Yeah. So Friday, you need to turn in your punch list with pictures and closeouts, and then that'll be our Monday topic. We can get that knocked out, and Monday topic will be the punch lists, daily reports, what we're gonna do. Tuesday will be continuation of what we were doing and making sure we were making progress where we were. Tuesday, you need to turn in your punch list report again, and then we'll do Wednesday with a punch list and daily, and then we'll just do it like that, guys. That way we can keep up to date on it.
Okay, so the updates are going to be due on Tuesday, Friday?
Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Or Saturday. I don't care if they're working. I mean, we're working Saturdays now from here on out. Saturday, you can turn in your punch list for fucking Monday. It's good for me too.
And then topic
Every other day.
Monday, Wednesday.
But I guess by turning in punch lists, like we just walk them down and close them out. Like, right?
I don't care how you do it.
What's the most efficient way for us to do it?
To be honest with you, I also don't care. We need to go out and take some photos. Cool. If you guys have them, send us a photo. Just like it's either or. All I need is a photo. Whether I go out and physically take it, or Jaren, or Tyler, or whomever, or you guys send it to us. Both are totally fine. We just need to document it somehow. So,
like if it is just like, hey, you get feedback from your superintendent saying, we're done all these punches. Okay, send your quality folks over. We'll go with them, take our iPad, take photos, be done it.
Yep, all good. That's easy.
Whatever we can do to help you guys.
And if you guys need to see it in a slightly different format or something, we tried something last little while, separating the various groups out. So instead of having everyone all together, we've got Ames, Phoenix, and Rural all on separate pages now. Hopefully that helps. Like if there's changes like that we can do to make it easier for you guys to go through these, like we can try to make your lives easier. Because there's stuff like that that's relatively easy for us that might make a big difference on your end. So if you guys can't think of anything, just you can come talk to us.
So just kind of going back to this update, are you going to expect an update on what we talked about today, or is it going to be next week?
When do you guys submit on Monday?
Monday night, end of day Monday, yeah.
If I could just get this,
so these incorporated for the next update?
Yeah, for Monday. Okay. Yeah.
Does that work for you, Eugene?
Yeah, it should be fine. Yeah.
It'll just be your normal weekly, changes from the field, and then just take a look at those. Take up tower guards, your placeholders for holding September 15th.
Right.
Yeah.
How will we know when the red flag?
Yeah, everyone will know. If anything, if they submit on Monday, I'll probably, depending on what time, I'll try to get Monday night, see, and update everyone at that Tuesday plan of the day.
Yeah.
Realistically, probably Wednesday.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, guys, just to share some feedback from my office, everyone is like in awe of this dome we're building. I'm getting people, those pictures that they took at night, it's all over like Freeport management, floor management. They're so impressed by you guys and the work that's been done. It's honestly like, just, we're getting there. You just get this done, and Chris can give us like $1 billion in a bonus when we're done this project, and we'll be great.
It's not happening, Chris.
Stan said it's happening. He did the accounting. He added a few zeros. Yeah. They can't pay your change order, so that's different. Chris, are you good? Everyone on the phone?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, we're all good.
All right, man, he's fucking great.
Oh, and
As always.
quick thing, I put it on the books anyway.
Awesome.
I know you are.
Put it on the books for Thursday to settle this thing with Continental. I need some information. I'm just need to follow date.
Yeah.
So
I see you have that meeting set up.
big thing is what support we're gonna need from Ames and Phoenix. Hopefully it will be okay. But I'm still trying to get the weight to see if Ames or Phoenix even has it. With so
we can get around it on it. Can't do a whole lot with them when you got them, but.
like the first one is like I needed transported from the way down to 2290 probably Monday morning.
Yeah, that's what we don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, the weight's probably on the BLM.
I think 70,000 is about what they said for the day.
I got the BLM right here, Stan. We can look at this after if you want. Just speaking of the BLM, I did look into those idler guards. Cages, yes, you were right, Karen. They are on the BLM. The normal BLM for all three conveyors. I didn't look for the 2280, but they're there for the 2285.
Should be fine. I don't think there's any. Oh no, I should maybe keep that out shut. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't. Just take a look at 2280, please.
Okay.
The thing we need is cages over roads. Like that's what it comes down to. So even if we can't find the specifics, that's the starting point for what we need to do.
It's gonna put you in a cage, Tyler. That is gonna put you in a cage.
I know Ethan's been looking into it because he's been asking me about it on and
He
off.
may already have it all figured out and put in the package together for those guys to get them in.
If he's got more questions, he can come back. No problem at all.
Should we ask about the idlers for 2280? Hey Chris, what's happening with the Saguaro idlers?
Are you fucking kidding?
Why? What is happening with them? I feel like that'd be a good way to end this. Has he left? Has everyone just left? They're like,
He hadn't until you asked that question.
no, he left. He left so fast. Do you know what's going on with them, Stan? For real?
I know I shouldn't have. I assumed that they were delivered by now because they're only 8 weeks late.
Every Tuesday.
It's like fucking Groundhog Day.
I thought I had mine in my. Got a loopy.